Hello and welcome to the Fearsome Rubber Ducky, guys. Today I'm going to be doing a video that many of you guys have already requested a couple times, and I'm pretty sure it's about time to do this because a lot of people are coming back to the game, and many of them are more familiar with the Wizard 101 pet system. So I'm going to show them how the Pirate 101 pet system works and how to make the best pet for their class. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Alright guys, so the first thing you need to do is you need to talk to this guy called Mickey Dugan. He'll give you a quest called Silly Pet Tricks. I'm going to go ahead and put that up on the screen for you right now. And you want to do that so you can get access to the equivalent of the Pet Pavilion if you play Wizard 101. And it's called Beastia. And that's where you go ahead and you morph your pets and you buy pet snacks and you buy pet gear. So that being said, let's go ahead and head on over there. Alright guys, so here is how you morph a pet. First of all, you need access to Beastia. I already showed you how to do that, but you will also need a pet that is level 30 or higher. And you will need 25,000 gold per morph. Once you have all that, you can hop on the sigil over here to self-morph if you have 2 adult pets. Or you can hop on the sigil over here to morph your adult or higher pet with another pirate that has an adult or higher pet. Alright guys, pet making is very gold intensive in general, so I have a link down below in the description to a guide on the best way to farm gold. I highly recommend checking it out. Alright, I'm going to get right back into the video. Alright guys, so there are a couple of things in this game that you can ignore as far as pets go. First of all, you have the pet stats. Like stuff like strength, agility, will, health. You can ignore all that. You mostly morph your pets so that you can get stuff for your pirate. You can also ignore stuff like pet power, guts, guile, and grit. That's only good for pet PvP, and it does not affect any of the stats that the pet grants for your pirate. This is not the same as it is in Wizard 101, where strength boosts damage or anything like that. So that's something you can ignore. You can also ignore how a pet looks. You don't get any extra cards for, the pet body or anything like that. Like, a Minotaur is just as good as a Scorpion if it has the same pool. Alright guys, something else you really don't have to worry about in this game is Mega Snacks. You do not waste your money on Mega Snacks because they do not level up your pet instantly like they do in Wizard 101. So this snack pack right here, it is way overpriced, and I do not recommend buying Mega Snack packs at all. Now, if you want to buy something that's really good as far as pet making goes, it also drops a lot of other great stuff like companions and energy gear, I would highly recommend buying this Grizzly Beast booster pack and until at least you get a basic energy gear set. You can get a eye patch, a charm, a totem, and a ring that all give energy. So that's really cool, especially if you end up boosting your pets via energy potions. So you want to go ahead and buy these things because they are super cheap, and you will use a lot of energy in order to train pets. Alright guys, so right behind the morphing tent you have these vendors. Right here you have a snack vendor that you will want to buy your snacks from. These snacks, which are level 4, are almost as good as the Mega Snacks, and they are incredibly cheap. You can buy them for 625 gold. So probably the most cost-efficient way to get your snacks in the entire game. So definitely do be sure to stock up on those. And depending on your training routine, you may also want to buy some pet gear, which is also incredibly cheap. Alright, let's go ahead and go over some pet training routines. Now the first pet training routine is the fast pet training routine. It is the one I recommend for players who are first getting started with pets. Why? Because it is the fastest way to train your pets. And the main thing you need when you're starting out is to get pets to adult right away so you can copy over the pools of better pets. Because when you're getting started, you don't have any good pools. So you need to get those pets really fast. You don't have a lot of pets, but you need to get your pets up quickly. And in that case, what you want to do is you want to train from one of these 4 exercises: sculling, deadlift, planking, or cat and guns gauntlet, because these exercises finish faster than any other exercises, and you get most of your XP from feeding your pets pet snacks. So, is it the most energy efficient way to train your pet? No, but it is certainly the fastest. So if you are just getting into pets, this is what I would recommend. Alright now guys, the second training routine is the most energy efficient training routine. And this is what I recommend when you finally get some decent pets and you start mass morphing. And that routine is to train first Captain Gun's Gauntlet, then you go into Hornpipe, and then you go into Salsa, and then you go into Sawbend all the way up to level 70, or until your pet fails, of course. Now, for this training routine, you'll want to stock up on these two training items, the Island Skull and the Bronze Medal, because some of the exercises in that training routine require these particular pieces of pet gear. Now, the good news is they are super cheap, only costing 50 gold each. Alrighty, we are on to the last pet training routine, and this one is pretty simple and pretty straightforward. It is the inactive player's pet training routine. If you only log on once every now and then, like every 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 days, or if you maybe log on once a week or something like that, you obviously want the pet training routine that will give you the most XP when you finally do get a chance to log into the game. And for this, I highly recommend buying all 4 of these items at the pet training gear vendor. That will open up a lot more opportunities to train a variety of training routines for your pet. And it is simple as going through the pet training routines and figuring out which one gives the most energy. It is clearly stated on the exercise. So that is what I recommend. And to recap, guys, it is simple as the fast way, what you want to do when you're first getting into pets and you need to get your pets trained up as fast as possible. The energy efficient way, which is what I recommend if you want to take pets super, super seriously and you want to do a lot of mass morphing. And then, of course, the inactive players method, which is what I just described now, where you look for the exercise that gives the most XP when you finally do redeem it. So those are the 3 pet training routine, guys, and we will go ahead and go to the next section of this video. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about pet making. It is much easier to make pets when you have help from someone who already has good pets. Making pets from scratch takes an incredibly long amount of time, but the good news is a lot of people have already done that for you. So what you want to do is you want to get a first generation pet. Now, what is a first generation pet? Now, if you did the quest to get here, you should have gotten a simple ostrich. That is a first generation pet. However, if you get a pet to drop from a boss or any of the creatures that are in this game, that is also a first generation pet. If you get a pet from the crown shop, that is also a first generation pet. If you get a pet from pet wrangling, that is also a first generation pet. Now what you want to do is you want to get that first generation pet to adult. And once you've done that, you want to morph it with the person who has the pet that you want. And you want to get the pet that you morph to adult. Once you get that pet to adult, you morph that adult pet once again with the pet that you want. Wash, rinse, repeat 4, 5, 6 times, or until you get the pedigree to match. Then you morph one more time, and then you have essentially 2 clones of the pet that you wanted. And then you can use those 2 clones to self-morph until you get the talents and the powers you want to manifest. Now, it's important to look at both the powers and the talents to make sure that all of these match. Okay? Once all of them do, then you have the exact pool. Everything has copied over. And as I said before, you self-morph your pets until you get what you want manifest. And it is as simple as that. Alright guys, now let's go ahead and talk about what is good for each class on a pet. Okay, now the pet system in this game is quite a bit different than Wizard 101 in the fact that you really don't need a pet to be perfect. Okay, it doesn't matter if your pet has, say, 1 failed talent or if it does not give exactly what you wanted. It will not make a huge difference. However, there are some things that are essential, so I would like to go over that with you. Okay, so for a privateer and a witch doctor, the good news is nothing is really essential. But for privateer, what I would recommend is going for a pet with a lot of melee attacks, because they are a melee class that does not have a lot of attacks that it already has trained from its trainer. So you want to compensate by having a pet with a lot of melee attacks. Now for witch doctors, they've got a lot of mojo. So you want to have a pet with a lot of mojo based abilities. What I recommend is going for a pet that has a rally on it, or that has a regroup, or that has an extra ghost whale or something like that. That is what I would recommend. Now, it's also nice to have useful selfish talents like webs. That is pretty much what you want to go for on a witch doctor pet. There are some extra things that are also nice, like hold the line and rainbow bless. But once again, guys, if your pet does not give that, it is perfectly fine once again. Now, for Buccaneer, in order to be competitive in PvP, or if you want to have a fun time in PvE, you want to go with a pet that has Relentless and Elusive. Those are essential for a Buccaneer. Now, for a Swashbuckler, all that is essential is Elusive. However, Swashbucklers, of course, could benefit from Hold the Line, Turn the Tide, and many other talents. Now, for Musketeer, this is the class that is the most essential, intensive out of all the classes for pets. And this is because they kind of need Burst Fire, Overwatch, and Elusive. Those are essential to a Musketeer pet. Now, you could get True Grit. That would be great to verse other muskets. You could get a Hold the Line. You could get a Rainbow Bless. You could get a Rally. You could get a Kraken's Lament. There are plenty of other things you can get for a Musketeer pet, but those three things, Overwatch, Elusive, and Burst Fire, those are absolutely essential. Now, guys, the crazy thing about the Pirate101 pet system has a lot to do with Pirate101 setups and how very, very flexible they are. A lot of times, whatever pets you get once you get the essentials will help you determine what type of setup you want to run. So it's not quite as strict, I guess you would say. Some witch doctors, they like to run a hybrid musketeer setup. And if you want to run something like that, look for a hybrid musketeer setup guide and follow that. They will give advice for pets if you want to run that specific setup. Now, there are a lot of setups that people are continually discovering, like if you want to counter a swashbuckler as a buccaneer, you may want to carry a poison so that when they go into hide, they're forced to use a fort, for example. Maybe you want a pet specifically to counter a certain type of buccaneer. For example, say if the buccaneer is a hybrid buccaneer and you want the chance to stun that buccaneer, maybe you will go for a True Grit 3 setup. In that case, you'll want a pet that gives True Grit as a musketeer or whatever other class you happen to be playing in order to stun that buccaneer. Okay? There are many different setups, and a lot of times you just check your pets every day and you find a pet that gives, that makes a particular setup possible. So pets, usually, they're very, very flexible, just like setups in Pirate101, okay? So that's pretty much all you really need to know about pets in this game, guys. Maybe I will put out some guides for some various different strategies and stuff later on, but that's just the basics of pet making, guys. If you want help with your pets, come here in the morphing tent, Realm One-Eye Jack, each and every week at 4 p.m. Central Time, every Friday. I will be here, guys, and I will be able to morph out pets every Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time. See you guys at the morphing tent. Link down below in the description if you want to see what pets I have. I got a pet album there. Other than that, guys, quack-a-doodle-doo, and peace out for now.